It was July 21st. Genshin 2.0 had just come out and I'd spent the entire day doing the new quests and making lots and lots of screenshots of the breathtaking landscape of Inazuma. And the entire day, I had two insane ideas in my head. Two extremely time-wasting and stupid things I could do in this update, in the fashion of a true bored AR-55 player. It was around 10:30 p.m. when my headache that had appeared from playing Genshin too long had finally subsided. I had done Act 1 of the Archon quest. I was technically free. So I looked at the map, the vast sea in between the mainland and Inazuman Islands, and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna cryo bridge that." So, the plan was simple. I had Kaya and Cheng as my cryo bridgers, with Diona for her ult in case something went wrong, and Benny for moral support. I chose this little platform behind the Guyun Stone Forest as my starting position, and this little island as my target. And then, I began. Chang'en's E infuses his weapon with cryo while he's in the area and also for extra 3 swings outside of it. The infusion lasts about 2.5 seconds according to his talent. So, I do 7 swings of Chang'en, switch to Kaya, E, run, switch to Chang'en, and spam his E until the cooldown went off. Rinse and repeat for the following 2 hours. It took me some time before I got the motions down. Skipping Chang'en's last auto attack animation by dashing, and skipping Kaya's cool sword juggle after he uses his E was tricky at first, but it soon became muscle memory. The first attempts I barely got past the Alcor, then a bit farther, and suddenly I slipped off my ice bridge, opened my map, and with frustration I realized I was halfway there. However, I am either insane or extremely stubborn, but after complaining to my friends, I went back in and started again. And again. I made many mistakes, going too far out, forgetting to do the last 3 Chang'en attacks, not skipping Kai animation in time, which wastes precious time. I don't know how long the ice bridge lasts. All I know is the second after I slam down Chang'en's E, Kaya's bridge melts, meaning every second counts. While bridging, I thought about the lore of this update. I hadn't learned much, given that I abandoned it all to do this insane mission, but at least I could sort of sympathize with the Shogun for taking away the visions. I'd be concerned too if some guys with ice powers were doing crazy things like crossing the goddamn ocean only using a sword. However, I still dislike what she's doing and I cannot wait to beat her eternity-obsessed self into a pulp once that mission comes out. And so, I bridged. To not go completely out of my mind trying to theorize the entire plot of the game, I put on a podcast in the background, the Penumbra podcast. You could blame Juno Steel for the way I'm doing narration this time, it's contagious. Either way, the podcast helped me completely zone out and my hands moved on themselves, muscle memory working like a charm. Maybe the 7 years of piano lessons were worth it after all, even if to quickly form muscle memory for an insanely stupid, monotonous challenge in a video game. Around 20 minutes in is when Inazuma starts to become clearer. With joy, I realized the sakura tree on top of the mountain finally had started to get saturated with color, that beautiful, vibrant pink hues. Another minute and the mountains gained detail. Sort of like when you put on glasses meant to see into the distance and you suddenly realize, oh man, my vision was actually bad all this time, and your eyes slowly adapt to the distance, revealing details in the horizon you never knew existed. Then Inazuma became so close, it didn't fit fully in my screen. My heart, I could feel it in my throat, my legs. I was so close. I could practically see my target island, like 2 full stamina Mona dashes away. But, as Kazuha has said, the road to Inazuma is a treacherous one, and I had completely forgotten about the biggest challenge awaiting for me. I was enjoying watching the details of the islands come into view, and all of a sudden it started to rain. Weird, I thought. I didn't know the sea had weather patterns. Then the world got plunged into darkness. All I saw was rain and lightning. The islands were gone, covered up by a dark void of the storm wall. The lightning hit me, dealing some electron cryo damage, which caused my Chang'en to waste some time. With horror, I remembered that there is an eternal tempest surrounding Inazuma, and I happily waltzed into it without any preparations. And then the ice melted, faster than it should have. I don't know why, perhaps I messed up my timing somewhere, maybe the ice bridge got superconducted, destroying it in the process, or maybe it's the effect of Raiden Shogun's breath. Whatever it is, I went into the water. A good thing about Chang's E is that when that area of effect disappears, another cryo sword appears and strikes the ground, dealing AoE cryo damage again. Meaning if I act fast enough and swim back, I can save the run by climbing back and making a new ice platform. So I swam back, saw that Changyan's E wasn't ready, and went to switch to Kaya, but I fat-thumbed into Diona. And then the character switch cooldown cursed me back into the deep, cold waters. I was stranded, a dead run, so close to the finish line. I was ready to go in again, but I realized two things. One, it was almost 2 AM, and two, my hands were getting cramped from holding a phone-shaped sun for so long. So, with a heavy heart, I left the game and went to bed, intending to continue my journey the next day. And continue I did. I woke up, did some work outside, and went back to my room, fully expecting I would reach Inazuma today. Who's to stop me? Famous last words, as they say. I logged in, did my daily commissions to earn the primals for Yoimiya, and did minor changes to my team. This time, I went with full cryo. Rosaria, Diona, Kaya, and Chongyan. Rosaria and Diona were there for their ults only. I do know that the two animal synergy gives skill cooldown, but at this point, I was too used to the timing to change it, so full cryo it is. I started my recording, and to my surprise, it was recording audio this time. This is the good run, I thought happily, and began the journey. I kept slipping up here and there, but overall, things were going well. I realized an interesting thing. After the Golden Apple Archipelago was finished, the game removed all of its assets, including the middle of the sea sound effects and music. So there I was, in the middle of a goddamn ocean, listening to the songs of birds and insects. Completely ruins the immersion. But it makes sense. After all, why in the world would we be in the middle of the ocean? There's nothing there. And so I went. My recording app displayed how long I've been recording, and so when it hit 20-minute mark, I braced myself. The tempest was approaching, or well, I was approaching it. And soon enough, at roughly 22 minutes, it started to rain, and the rough outline of Inazuma vanished out of my sight. Kaya and Changyan started complaining about a storm, but I had no time to listen. The lightning was making this even harder.
Cryo is always far more.
Before the resounding thunder, evil must cower in fear.
And then, my world got turned upside down as my Changyan got hit by lightning and went flying off the bridge. I panicked. Swam back as fast as I could, slammed down a Rosaria ult and Changyan E to keep the cryo platform up, and again I got launched. I wasn't recording my voice, but I let out the most anguished "No!" I've ever heard myself say. I tried swimming back again, but the platform melted. I was, once again, alone in the sea, surrounded by an angry storm materialized by the wrath, or perhaps even insanity, of a god. I still don't understand why she had done that, and at that point, I certainly didn't want to know either. I was pissed. I decided I could try and swim, just to see on the minimap how far I could get and then try again. A little bit over half of my stamina, something appeared next to my minimap. An icon of electro symbol. I tried clicking it and I got teleported back to the Greenstone Forest. I was confused. Did I click something? Was that a fast pass home? What happened? I teleported to Rito. Remember when I said I had two ideas? Well, the second one was to try and bring the Wave Rider to the mainland. So I ran to the Wave Rider waypoint, jumped in, and sailed to the same island I was desperately trying to reach this whole time, set a marker in Liyue, and angrily sailed ahead. The storm appeared pretty soon this time. After all, it engulfed all of Inazuma. The icon appeared quickly as well, and this time I was able to click on it. As I read the first line, I was once again teleported back. However, the pop-up didn't disappear. Two lines of text that basically spelled out, all of your effort was in vain. A nation closed by thunder. Inazuma has been closed off by the Ogusha Shogun. No one is allowed in or out without a good reason. And so you'd think this is the part where I start wailing, whining how this was all for nothing. Well, like I said, I am stubborn. The important thing I got from the message is that the nation is closed off for now. In a few months, I can bet we will face off the Raiden Shogun ourselves and convince her to change her mind or whatever. Maybe fight the Mecha Osile that Daisley so willingly supplied the parts for. I still can't believe. Fight that dude and prove something to her. I don't know. But I'm certain the Shogun will lift the storm one day. And that day is when I complete my challenge. Because I am stubborn, insane, or any other adjective you wanna stick on me. See you guys until then.